bar nothing. They're going to take a little while on this one.
It's going to be a minute. Yeah. It's going to be a minute before they get it, but no, it's... so what are we looking for here? I'm expecting it to be the same Fizz, Nidalee, Zed style.
I think so too. Nidalee was open in Game 1.
Ooh, okay.
Hecarim comes out as a ban against Kuban. Yes, it did very well in Game 1. It makes sense.
They banned this in Game 2 as well.
Yes, so they will follow up with that. So Origen Gaming again ban out the Lulu, so they just don't want Origen on a Juggernaut composition. Just don't want to deal with that.
Ironically,
which, is fine.
That's the composition they've lost with twice.
It is. It is the dice roll comp. I like to call it with the Origen. Could go well, could do terribly. We just don't know until we get into the game. But Origen Gaming just don't want to deal with it at all. Origen, what do they not want to deal with? They haven't really felt a lot of threat from Take Fun, despite him typically being the assassin playmaker. They'll take away his Zed regardless, because it was kind of an issue. But, of course, the Vladimir shut him down. I guess Origen just don't want to pick another Vladimir here and be like, well, we're going to pick Vlad every game and not be predictable. And then LeBlanc will come out as another ban against Expeke.
I think one of the other things here is Origen is saying we don't want the Zed. It's not first pick priority for them, so they don't want it falling to the second round for Reason Gaming. It's just another champion that they'd rather not have to deal with here through the second picks stage. And LeBlanc getting banned out as well. Very similar out from Reason Gaming. As I said, I honestly think the Maokai should just follow up here as well.
Yeah, very, very likely. Just onto Soaz again, force him onto something a little different. And there we go.
There we go.
Okay, everything as expected from the bans. Now, let's see if they do anything different in the champion picks, because this is where it could potentially get interesting. This is also the last chance for the teams to pull out anything potentially different that they've been planning for. This is the final game. I mean, Reason Gaming weren't really pressured to bring anything new out in that last game.
So it's interesting because we know that, or at least we have spoken to Reason a little bit, and they were talking about a strat that they have. They never really divulged what it was, so I'm wondering exactly whether they're going to bring it out now. Obviously, we haven't seen anything too crazy in Game 1 and 2, but if they have been practicing with something different, now may very well be the time to bring it out.
Very true. Yeah, they were saying they practiced in a couple of scrims against some of the different teams they've been playing against. We'll see if they actually bring it out here, because they need the conditions to be right for it.
Okay.
We'll see.
Is that what they said?
Origen will create that.
Okay.
I was prodding, and they were like, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah, so. I know, because they wouldn't tell me either, so there's something that Reason will do, but we know one thing that Origen have done, and that is make their first pick.
Yeah, and their first pick is just going to be a very solid Morgana, the ultimate of flex picks. Can go top, mid, support.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on Reason Gaming, they'll pick up their Janna. Took far less time than Origen did with their first pick, and it will be Take Fun going for the Ari again, as he did in Take 1.
Take 1, Game 1, Take Fun, have fun. Game 1 went really well for Take Fun on Ari as well. So I think that's a really solid pickup. Same with the Janna, it's extra disengage here that Reason Gaming are going to have. It's not quite Libic's playstyle when you look at things, but he prefers his Thresh, but he just isn't opting for that. They want to take the Janna away. Yeah. Don't let Mithy get the Janna that he played in Game 2. As that was another big factor, the disengage.
Yeah, I do wonder whether they'll pick something else with Janna again, maybe something later game. Celiva every single game so far has picked up a later game champion. We'll see what Origen go for here, what jungler they'll go for. Amazing has typically favoured Gragas over the Swajani, but Swajani will give them way more engage and maybe allow Soaz to get on top of the competition. Sivir will do the same as I just mentioned, allow them to get into the fight, and they'll be going with this one for Niels. I don't necessarily recall if Niels has played this one before.
Yeah, that's actually what I was just looking to check. I actually don't believe he has.
But again, this is a different type of composition.
This is a different champion for Niels.
Dead on the money. Okay, so Reason Gaming, well, we talked about disengage from the Janna. They're going to go back to basics, go back to Game 1 with the Ari, the Tristana, and the Janna. This is exactly how it went last time. They may just go for the whole shebang and go for everything.
They can't go for the Hecarim from Game 1.
They can't, yeah.
That's the one thing, because they'd be needing a top lane engaged champion if they wanted to run something that was similar. Like Zac, but we haven't really seen Zac in the top lane too much in competitive. Yeah, we did by Mouse. Oh, yeah. Don't remind me about that series, but we haven't seen it too much in competitive, and I actually don't know that we'd see it again at this point. I mean, Kuban has other options. His Aurelia is actually open, should he look to pick it up.
Yeah,
Gragas, flex pick here. Could be top, could be jungle. We saw Soaz play it earlier, top lane, building full AP. Didn't exactly have a huge impact on the game as such. I actually expect that to be a jungle Gragas on Zayu with Kuban taking his Irelia. He doesn't want to blind pick Irelia, though, into a potential bad top lane matchup. They've got the flex of Morgana.
But if he does get his Irelia, that's another great great thing within the arsenal, because Kuban's Irelia is great. We saw it in the expansion tournament. We've just seen it for months and months, years and years, so he's always going to be solid on that pick. Origen, what do they go for now? Because they have the Morgana, which can be in support, can be in the top lane. They're hovering over the Rumble, which would suggest the Morgana would be in that bot lane support. And they also hover the Vladimir as well, so it worked last game. They have the Sivir this time as well. The On the Hunt comes in, Vladimir runs at you, you try and CC him down, he pulls. So it's very difficult to get away from. No doubt he'll just go for the flash and ghost again if that is the case.
Okay, gets locked in as well.
Alright, so yeah, they will go for that. They'll go for the Vlad, and they'll go for the Rumble in the top lane.
Different matchup as well now. Vladimir into Ahri, a little bit... Again, Vladimir is not a champion that we see all that much to kind of definitively say matchups, but Peke is obviously very confident against Take Fun's Ahri here, so Vlad's going to want to split push. Somebody's going to have to stop him, and maybe it'll be in an Irelia. Maybe. Or Irelia wants to split push herself. We're in a very weird situation like last game.
Where they'll just bump heads in that 4-1. Yeah, very possible. But if they do lock this in, I mean, it would make perfect sense because of Kuban's Irelia. But again, this time, Origen... It feels like they have more of a cohesive composition, because last time they had bits and bobs, but now they have, let's just get into the fight, let's just CC them, let's kill them all with Vladimir, everything laid on top of each other. Like, this is a composition that will just, if it gets ahead, they just team fight and team fight and team fight.
Yeah. They've got to get ahead, though.
Yeah.
They've done it in both games.
Yeah.
They have.
Second game, more than the first game. Alright, so that much makes sense. It's going to be the Irelia for Kuban in the top lane. It's going to be that jungle Gragas. It will be Take Fun on his champion of the first game, and everything else is the same from that first game. Tristana and also the Janna for the bot lane. And apart from that, nothing too much out of the ordinary.
No, but I'm interested to see how Celiva's Tristana is going to work. We were highlighting the AD carries as we came into this matchup, and Celiva looked good in game 1, didn't look so good in game 2. And that's a bit worrying. I wonder whether Celiva needed, in the same way that Origen needed the loss, maybe after a great game, maybe he relaxed a little bit too much and was like, okay, well, we can just do the same again.
Yeah, I also didn't think, because last time it was very easy for him in game 1 to get away, because there was so much in front of him and so much peel. In the second game, he was on a cog. He didn't have that rocket jump that Tristana has. So this time he does, and we'll see if it works. So everything is on the line for this final game. So you can vote for the team you think who will clinch the final win using the hashtags OGWin or RGWin, and we'll be checking in with your opinion during the match. So far, it's gone from 7% to 12% for Reason Gaming. We'll see if it increases again. They did lose that last game, but if you think they're going to take the series, then now would be the time to get in on the underdogs in this series.
Is it going to be 5% either way? Again, is it going back down to 7%, or is it going up?
Maybe
to 17.
Very possible. Let's get into this game and answer all of our questions and all of your questions over there at home. We will see how this works. Origen now onto the blue side once again from game 1. They did have that higher seed, finishing number 1. Oh, that was a little weird from Zayo. Finishing first seed in the round robin, 9-1 to Reason Gaming, who barely scraped into the playoffs with the 4th seed, taking that from Team Dignitas EU. And now they are 1 win away from getting to the finals, or potentially 1 loss from going into that 3rd place game and meeting Gamers 2, who are waiting anxiously to see who they'll be facing in that 3rd place game and keeping their playoff, or keeping their promotion dreams alive. 4th place will re-qualify for Summer Challenger Series, so they are safe no matter what happens in this one, but of course you do want to qualify for a chance at making LCS, because that's the dream.
That is the dream. Hashtag LCS the dream. But, I mean, if you're Gamers 2, as good as Reason Gaming have looked today, if you're Gamers 2, you still want Origen to win this game. So you don't have to play Origen to make your way into the promotion tournament. Reason Gaming have shown us, though, that they can compete with Origen. And that's why we're in Game 3. And being in Game 3, still bodes well for Reason Gaming, because this composition, the later and later the game goes, again, is going to be good for Reason. They've got an Irelia, they've got a Tristana as well. So if this one goes late, Reason will breathe somewhat of a sigh of relief that they can get Celiva and his carry pants back on.
That's true, but we do have a Vladimir from Xpeke, who will be able to scale equally as well into the late game. Sivir as well, not too shabby. Not as bad as a Corki who spikes in the mid-game. And Soaz, of course, with the ultimate, always going to be useful. So at least Origen do have something they can do in the late game rather than just die, which was what they did in game 1. And only just hope that they can outsmite them at Baron.
Which never happened.
Which never happened. Kuban going to be taking these Krugs at top lane here. And are we going to have these lane swap shenanigans again, potentially? Here comes the ward coming out. Amazing, and Soaz going up against this blue buff. Miffy as well onto the opposing blue buff, just seeing what's up. And who can get these early movements. So it is Celiva and Libic sitting in the top lane for this lane swap. It will be Niels and Miffy down here in the bottom lane. Miffy is still sat on top of this blue buff. He doesn't have a water play, so he's just waiting for that to go down. Finally, he can do it. There we go. Take Fun getting the harassment down onto Peke, so having a little bit better of an early laning phase than he was as Zed as the last game. And Kuban and Zayu still heading towards their blue buff, which has been warded, but Amazing and Soaz are just going to go for their second buff as well. So they'll have the knowledge, they just won't be disrupting it.
Yeah, has been spotted out. Bottom lane, though, Origen are pushing fairly hard here, and it's something you don't see all that often from these lane swap scenarios. Is normally you'd expect a freeze, but Niels has shoved a big wave into this tower. Will we see Irelia get there in time? Origen are actually going to push up and try and deter Irelia from getting any of this experience, or at least for as long as they can. Amazing's coming over the wall. Kuban's in trouble.
Oh, he locks him down with the binding as well. There comes the boomerang blade. Zayu will be backing away with his ally of Kuban just getting in there to body block for him. But that has done enough to send him packing back to base and allows them to clear out this minion wave. Also means that big minion wave from Origen will all just crash against the turret and all be taken down. So not only do they get a decent amount of damage onto the turret, but they've denied Kuban hard.
And he has to teleport if he wants to get any of this experience. The problem is Miffy and Niels have put so much damage down onto this turret that it is a very hostile area should he choose to teleport in.
He's in top lane, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, his teleport has gone down top lane, so they want to get this 1 versus 1 setup, as Kuban was not feeling that bottom lane. However, Kuban has got more CS from his ability to roam around the jungle. So is only on 4 CS so far.
Yeah, it did mean the bot lane from Niels is slightly ahead. Xpeke, though, does get ignited up. Zayu from the sidelines. He'll follow up with the barrel as well, plus the ignite. He won't be dying from this, but it is certainly annoying. It will mean Take Fun's very low on mana, so Zayu will just be here to help him push it in.
Good barrel roll placement from Zayu. He knew that Peke would have wanted to go in a straight line, get as far away as he could. Popped it straight on his head as soon as he comes up from the pool.
He hit a skull shot. Good job.
Vlad was expecting it all to be blood around him, but it turns out it was just grog.
And Zayu will be taking down the crab again. Extra 50 gold on top of that 15 gold from his jungle item, of course. Soaz in the top lane, misses a CS, saw that. Zayu, though, will be finding him in the top lane, will catch him with the body slam, forces the flash out. And Soaz is catching up on CS, but now he's a flash down. Kuban also has his flash down from earlier, so they'll just be sharing that same fate. Soaz still has his teleport, though, so he has that advantage.
Yeah, and Soaz has got no potion, so he has to be careful here. With knowing Zayu was kind of around the area, Zayu could loop back and cross over that ward. Yes, he'd get a little bit of advance warning, but still has to watch out for Zayu's pathing here. And actually, you can see that Amazing is going to head up to this top side jungle just to counter gank, I would imagine. There's not exactly too much kill pressure here, unless Kuban really messes this up.
Yeah, Zayu will also be coming up here as well, just in case, if he can try and get a counter gank down. But Kuban just wants to sit under his turret and farm away. That is his current goal in life. Mid lane, Take Fun has gone back to base, picked up the Aether Wisp. Meanwhile, Xpeke has picked up a normal magic mantle and his amp tome, so building towards his early game items here. Bot lane is Niels picking up a very early pickaxe, actually not deciding to wait a little bit and go for the BF sword, which would be the bigger spike. Trying to spend all the gold as it comes in. And the double Durant out from Celiva.
And I wonder whether Peke is going to build towards the Will of the Ancients again this time early on, or whether he'll opt for the Abyssal Scepter against Ahri. Obviously now he's in against versus Magic lane. He may have to itemize a bit differently. He probably won't opt for the Zhonya's quite as fast in this game. He got an Abyssal Scepter in the last one, but maybe a little bit more necessary against Take Fun earlier on in the game. And actually I expect he's going to go take away the Raptor camp as well. So Amazing finds himself a little bit down on experience actually because of that.
So far, neither team has drawn ahead. Zayu will be popping up his Razor Sharp buff, but that'll be showing him a pink ward.
Oh, Amazing. That's so disheartening. Amazing's like, I really want this ward. Oh, it's going to time out.
Nope. And there will be a Howling Gale he receives instead, but Miffy is there to back him up. Does get down the binding, and Libic will be using his Trinket to clear away that ward again. Question is, will Miffy put another ward down? Soaz is taking a lot of damage from Kubon though. He uses the Transcendent Blaze to get the advantage in that lane. Soaz does not have the ultimate himself, but now Kubon is completely out of mana, so he'll be heading back to base. He has, however, built up a fairly large gold lead. 43 farm against 29. Libic takes some damage.
Not quite.
Libic actually angers the dragon himself. Zayu takes the crab, and Origen Gaming actually do go for this one. So they clear out the minion, or they clear out the ward, and now they go for the dragon itself. Mid lane is pushing, so Expect it can't really respond.
This is very similar timing to game 1 as well from Origen Gaming. Pretty much the same setup from Reason as well. So this is dropping fairly low. Miffy now knows that they're doing it. They have had that ward in the back of the pit as well. Teleport coming in from Soaz. He does not have his ultimate. Dragon is down.
And Expect comes in from the mid lane. He has been exhausted, so not doing too much damage at the moment. Teller is trying to back away. This is the heal coming out as well. Miffy will be following up the damage. Take Fun will be jumping away with his ultimate. First blood goes to Amazing. And Soaz will be overheated, so he'll back into the middle lane. Nice first blood, and the Dragon, though, going over to Reason Gaming. So, first blood for Dragon. I feel like Reason Gaming got a little bit ahead.
Can Origen get anything else from this, though? Amazing straight away goes to take away the enemy jungle. And it looks like Soaz is going to return back up to the top lane. Take Fun is out of mana here as well, so he is going to have to recall too. This is the time that everybody is going to head back, and you can see Peke has opted for that Hextech Revolver first once again.
Yep, he is on 68 farm currently. This is the blue buff again being contested by these teams. I feel like we see this every single game. They really like that blue buff. This specifically the one on the red-hand side. Take Fun will be taking that one away. Now in the bot lane, Niels is now ahead of Saliva by around 20 CS, so it is a decent amount. But that first blood managed to get an assist onto everyone on the team. Top lane, just trading off.
Yeah, Kubon thought he had the better trade then, and then took Tower Aggro for a hit. So Soaz actually comes out the better from that small trade.
So let's take a look at the just general Vision game as well, because we were talking about in Game 1 how these teams ward a lot more than the other teams in the rest of the EU Challenger Series, and so far they've already been keeping it up. Typically when objectives start being a thing, the teams really start to ramp up in the amount of vision they put down. Bot lane, Salva is trying to aggress onto this turret. He has Libic there as well to increase the damage. We'll be getting the explosive charge down onto the tower, which will do even more damage. Miffy able to take out this ward, which is just in range of the pink ward.
Niels is up in CS again, but he's actually opted for the level 2 boots, the Berserker's Greaves, very early on. And Niels, his itemization is so far behind because of it. In top lane, Zayu is going in first.
Amazing is there to counter-engage, though. Lands a great ultimate onto two players, onto Zayu and Kubon, who will be dropping first. Jukes into the bush to cut the vision. Kubon, can he get in range for the auto attack? Turns around! He gets the Junkyard Titan extra damage and goes for the 2-0. What a perfect counter gank.
Great counter gank there out of Amazing. Good ult. And Soaz just manages to turn it around and get so much damage down. That's a massive power play out from Origen. It puts them very far ahead now in this early game, and they're going to be able to put damage onto this turret as well. Kubon's may choose to teleport in on this. I wonder whether he'll hold it and just let them get a lot of damage down on this tower.
Boomerang Blade gets one, gets two. Takes some damage onto Salva in the bot lane. He's still got his flash and busts the shot. Still lagging behind in farm, however.
But back down to this bottom lane, as you were talking about, no BF sword even out yet from Niels. He's actually opted for the components of a pickaxe. Now, I'm assuming... not a pickaxe, a Last Whisper. I'm assuming he will still go a standard build of Infinity Edge into subsequent items. But that's a lot of gold now invested into things that aren't a BF sword, which deters from his Infinity Edge spike, and he's going to push it lower, further and further with that second attack speed item as well. So Celeber is getting led off a little bit on his itemization by the fact that Niels has opted for his level 2 boots.
Yeah, it's a little odd. Typically we never see level 2 boots picked up so early on the AD carries, but it will give him the extra movement speed, I guess. And plus, when we get to these team fights as well, it really is just about the ultimate and getting Peke to the back lines. He hasn't completely destroyed mid lane. Takefun is drawing basically even with him so far, but he's also started to take the... I wanted to say Rave Camp, but it's not the Raptors. That was a long time ago. And he started taking those, so he will be getting ahead in farm ever so slightly. Zayu now heads into the mid lane. If he wants it going to happen, it's going to take quite a lot to kill Xpeke, as he has both of his summoners, his pool, and he's almost impossible to pin down unless they land a charm.
He's probably going to head back soon, though. He is sat on 1,200 gold right now, so he's likely to head back. But both junglers have convened in this bottom lane as well. Both have been spotted on wards. So I don't actually expect too much to happen from this, because both teams should be aware from the way the other are playing that neither jungler can really get into this. But Amazing has left the lane. Zayu is still around, but is now turning tail back into the jungle himself.
So Dragon is spawning in 1 minute 20 seconds. Zayu has gone back to base. He's picked up his Balmy Cinder, which will be going into his Cinderhulk, of course. Won't be going into Sunfire Cape. Takefun has picked up his Ludens now as well, so starting to pick up some big power spikes from Reason Gaming, which is perfect timing for the Dragon just coming up. Question of whether Niels and Peke can do the same, but Niels has really delayed himself. Amazing in the jungle has got his Cinderhulk. Soaz manages to get a bit of damage down onto his item build, but Takefun now with this item lead trying to put it down onto Xpeke, gets the Sanguine Pool out. He'll flash away from the last Q coming out from Ari, and Amazing will spook Takefun, so he has to flash away. Amazing did have his ultimate if he really wanted to use it on him, plus the flash to get in range for Arctic Assault, so it was a wise choice. But Takefun trying to take advantage of his item spikes. Yeah,
Takefun doesn't have flash available here, so they can't flash ult, and Amazing actually shows himself in this lane, so Reason is just waiting for Origen potentially to push up into that bush. So in that little trade there, all the summoners were used by both mid laners and both ultimates, so as far behind as Xpeke dropped, the one other key thing, Takefun not running a mana regen item, can't regen to continue to fight in that middle lane. Peke just needed a few seconds to regenerate his way up using his abilities. So from there, Peke actually somehow ended up coming out slightly ahead when it comes to lane pressure, but Soaz is in danger.
Reason Gaming in the top lane, though. Here comes the barrel roll, follows up with the equalizer onto the minion wave, trying to get something to happen. The Celeber, though, will be taken down in turn and jumps over the wall. That's another flash from Nils. There's another flash from Celeber. Last auto attack as the Buster Shot comes through will be enough to take him out. 4-1 currently on the scoreboard, plus the bottom tower going over to Origen. They're really starting to pull ahead.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade overall, but that tower is going to make all the difference for now. Dragon has spawned as well, so Origen can turn to look at it, but this is, again, very similar to game number 1, where they're going to push out the bottom tower first, make sure that wave of minions, or the next wave, will bounce from the turret, and force them not to be able to pick up too much experience here before turning for the Dragon.
Yeah, so top tower will go down. Kubon making sure that it kills this last minion before he finishes off the turret here. Dragon is up. It will be started by Amazing. Bottom lane is being pushed in by Origen. They may even pick up a second turret here, which would be fantastic for them. Celeber, good sidestep away from the binding, and that just goes down. Amazing is still soloing up the Dragon, and there's so much vision control around there. It's completely secured by Origen, and Reason Gaming do not even have a bead on it. They do not even have the timer.
No, and especially with the towers going down in the bottom lane, a Reason definitely won't have an exact timer, because there was no point at which Origen completely disappeared from the map. So now Reason are left guessing what did go down from Libic, so now they know it is indeed gone. Libic clears out the pink ward, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, they can also just hit tab and be like, oh, they picked up a Dragon, so that must mean they took it. Just a couple seconds ago.
True.
4,000 gold advantage. Peke just get caught in the middle lane, but he still has Sanguine Pool, remember. He'll be going into it right now. Zayu is sitting on top of him. Libic is there to seal the deal, and Takefun comes in with the very last charge of Spirit Rush to finish him off. So Vladimir apparently can bleed. Kubon in the top lane, though, aggressing onto Soaz. Niels is also there. He'll be flashing away. Top tower is very low for him as well, so I'm not entirely sure if he can defend it, but he can if Niels just gets out of dodge. Middle lane, Reason Gaming pick up a tower. Libic.
One tap.
Got it. Yeah, even buffs himself with his shield, so make sure it dies. And bottom turret also falls, so all of the outer turrets fall to Reason Gaming in the blink of an eye.
That's a really good passage of play out of Reason Gaming, and it all stemmed from the fact that Xpeke still didn't have his summoners available. It's an easy kill onto Peke once he'd pushed out, and not even the pool was enough to save him. So Reason Gaming firing back once again. That's actually drawn this game far more level than Origen would want it to be at this point into the game. They're only 1,500 gold up when they were just about 3,500 about a minute ago.
That was indeed the case. And amazing, now takes that crab. He will be securing that vision in the upper river. Now going into this bush. He already did have the Razor Sharp buff, so didn't necessarily need to use his own sweeper. Wards go down all over the top side. They are gearing up to try and take this low health tower. Libic is here to try and shield it up though. I'm not sure if they can defend. Niels and Miffy. Kuban trying to go for the engage though. He will be jumping in. There's the on the hunt. He turns around. Goal! So much damage from Niels. Heads in with the boomerang blade. Libic is maybe sticking around for a little too long. Can't afford to get tagged by a dark binding. Top tower goes down and a kill.
So as down in the bottom lane pushing as well from that engage, but it's mid lane again.
Take Fun again moving on to Xpeke. There's a Sanguine Pool. Can he survive after it? Jukes out of the way of the Tides of Blood. There comes the Orb of Deception. Takes him out. One-on-one kill. Take Fun just showing who's boss.
Xpeke a little bit maybe distracted by the fact that he just got killed. Comes back into lane, maybe not expecting the Ignite to be up from Take Fun. That's one of the key factors in that small engage there, and Take Fun comes out ahead because of it. He has a lot of damage right now from that Luden's Echo and the now needlessly large rod on top of it. But that Ignite timing, shredding through the regeneration that Vladimir wants. Teleport is coming through from Kuban. He's into the backside of this fight. He doesn't want it, though.
He's looking for the flank, but the team isn't quite in position. It's not the fight that they want, not the fight that they're looking for.
And big cooldown.
Yeah, long cooldown. He wasn't even to a tower, so it's going to be on its maximum cooldown for that teleport. Selva and Take Fun will clear out the minion wave, however. It has been a while since we've really looked at the scoreboard because the teams have been trading objectives constantly. 3 towers to 3 so far. And the goal totals are starting to stabilize. However, Origen are still slightly ahead. Top lane, Kuban is now ahead in CS. Mid lane, the same story for Reason Gaming. But bot lane, Niels is 40 farm ahead of Selva, plus those 2 kills, so significantly ahead of his counterpart. Has translated into that zeal you can see, and the makings of even more damage, whereas Selva only sitting on his Infinity Edge. However, the later that game drags on, well, we saw a perfect example in the form of Game 1, how difficult Selva can be to deal with.
For sure. And interestingly enough, Niels actually picks himself up a fairly early red buff as well. As Amazing did just give that over to Niels, so that will help with Niels' damage and ability to stick on top of people in these fights. But they've already got a fair amount of mobility when it comes to it with that Sivir ultimate. And also the dual mobility summoners on Xpeke. So Origen are in a good spot right now, but certainly they cannot disrespect Reason like they did in the first game. That was one of the biggest problems with why Reason stayed in, was Origen just honestly weren't respecting.
Yep, that's pretty true. Yep. That's a true statement, Stress. And the bot lane, Selva pushing up in here against Niels. See if a fighter ups. And talking about Niels, he's really typically strayed away from the picks like Sivir. He's gone for the more AD casters. He's gone for the Corkis, the Graves. He went for Cogmore, of course, when we saw them run the Juggermore. But typically this isn't his style of play, so it's interesting that he's gone for this game. But it's a compositional choice, which is cool to see that he has that in his arsenal if the team needs it.
Yeah, and it's not the only thing about this composition that is a compositional choice rather than a pure itemization. You look at Sejuani, has the Righteous Glory out from the jungle as well. It's not always the most standard item that you'll see. Ooh, Peke will, you know, the sigh of relief that charm didn't land him. That could have been a very dead Vladimir. Yeah,
Take Fun also had to burn his Spirit Rush because Miffy's Dark Binding almost hit him. Not sure if it would have. It timed out just before it got to him. Even so, better to be safe than sorry than to die. Who won in the top lane. Soaz with the ultimate, only fairly good positioning, but he's still being chased after by Kuban. Kuban has run out of juice and will not be following him down. Libic and Selva now return to their bottom lane habitat. They have found Niels, though.
Niels.
Remember, he has Spell Shield, so he'll be using that one right now, looking to block the Buster Shot out. He'll be flashing away and using the heal. So they take both his summoners and his ultimate. Zayu is here to try and zone Zayu to zone Amazing away. Here comes the bowler onto
no
2.
No follow-up, though.
No one's there, but now Peke is coming into this battle. He's split up. The whole of Origen is really split up in this fight. Takefun will be coming forward. Sanguine Pool cuts his own health bar. He'll be flashing away from the charm. And Miffy and Niels were just pretty much farming in the bottom lane. He was really just down to Peke to try and get away from that catch.
Origen completely on different pages here. Both summoners used by ex-Peke, and especially considering that a dragon just came up at the same time. This now leaves Peke in a position behind the dragon. They're looking for a steal from Amazing. He doesn't get it.
Goes over to take fun. What is it in this series about junglers not picking up the objectives? It's always either the AD carry or the mid laner. It's always down to the wire. Getting a little antsy, you have to feel, these junglers and these teams, because there's so much on the line. The winner of this game will be going to the finals and going for a chance at automatically promoting into the LCS. A chance like that does not come around all the time. In fact, it does that once a split.
Yeah. I mean, it's like clockwork, but it's not often.
Yes.
It's, you can count on that. But Reason Gaming are in a great position for how the roster has looked over the group stage. They weren't the top teams. They certainly have snuck under the radar of Origen here, and both teams right now, they're one game away. And as you said, that doesn't come around very often.
Well, as this team fight gears up, we'll see if anything really happens. But I do want to theorize a little bit, because if Origen drop down and go into the promotion tournament, they could be facing either Giants or Roccat. And most likely Roccat, or most likely Giants rather. And in that matchup, I still feel Origen would come out ahead. We'll see if that's the case. Libic very close to being caught by Amazing. But it's a very interesting topic, because that could very well be the case depending on how this single game goes.
In that case, I mean, obviously they'd have to get dropped down into the pros.
Correct.
That is, that would be what would happen. They'd either have to drop down from the winners or win the losers match, the third place match. But one thing I want to focus on from this game is that you can see how much trouble Peke is having on this Vladimir this time around. He's had to opt for distortion boots very early on, and look at Celebi, he's just pushing, has that bomb on the turret.
Ultimate onto the top lane, but that's not something he wants to dive. Take Fun coming in from the bot hand side. This could be very dangerous. Niels get caught by the charm. He goes down. Kuban comes out with the Blade Surge as well to finish him off. Bot lane was able to be stopped by Soaz. Could weather the storm down there with the equalizer. That tower's very low. And Celever again, we saw this actually in the series that they played last time in week 2. It was Celever who was the one split pushing. You remember it was in mid lane with Graves, and he was the one who was keeping him in it by trading objectives. This game is going very similarly to how it did last time.
Celever did just lose both of his summoners though in the bottom lane. We didn't quite catch it on the stream, but you know, he needs both flash and heal if he really wants to take those kind of split push engages there against like a Rumble. He's going to have a lot of damage later into the game, but he doesn't quite yet. So as now, Kuban knows he's not got his ultimate available, so this is a fairly easy one for Kuban to pick up. He's
going to try and teleport away. He knows he's not going to get stunned. He's away. That was very close, though. Down to the wire.
Just about.
But he burns his teleport, and that gives teleport advantage now to Reason Gaming, so they can do what they like with it, and allows Kuban to split push, whereas Soaz will not be able to get into a fight just as fast, and Soaz does not have any CC, so he will not be able to stop Kuban from getting away from his clutches.
Origen this time, they're again running a similar composition with this later game scaling mid lane. However, Peke is behind in mid lane, and TakeFun has done a phenomenal job in games 1 and 3 on Ari of actually controlling ex-Peke. You can see 2-0 and 1 now, 240 CS on Ari to the 221, 0, 2 and 1 from Vladimir. So TakeFun has really been the shining light from that mid lane here for Reason Gaming. Celeber has looked good as well, but TakeFun's doing a lot of work that is maybe not quite as obvious to spot.
Yeah, TakeFun to me kind of either has like an amazing game or not quite a great game. There's no real middle ground for TakeFun, but he just plays those assassins, which are high risk, high reward, so that is the case. In the bot lane, still, Kuban trading up against Soaz. Has to be very careful though, their vision control is not super good down there. In fact, most of the vision control is all around the Baron area, which is a good call by Reason, because we do know that Origen like their Baron plays.
I hope this game doesn't devolve to that again.
Me too, Stress.
I really hope it doesn't. Although this time around, looking at it, Origen actually have a composition that should be able to fight that a lot better with a Rumble from the top lane. And a Vladimir, that if you lay a Hemoplague and an Equalizer over the top of each other, that's actually a fairly strong...
Sounds like a recipe.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Oh,
dear. That's worrying that you knew where I was going with that.
Yep. Hive mind. A little bit disturbing. Well, we'll see what happens in this mid lane. What is for sure is many minions are dying, and that will be giving Neil some gold. He has a lot of gold on a lot of farm over Celiva so far. He's sitting on 10,300 to 8,400 from Celiva, so he's got a significant lead, and that has just exacerbated over the last couple of minutes. Mid lane as well, and you can see advantage this time to take fun. So here's the shining light, as you mentioned, on their team. But then again, Kuban is also ahead of Soaz, so there's a lot of factors going over to Reason Gaming.
The difference between the AD carries didn't seem to matter in Game 1, though. Niels had a lead in Game 1. He didn't really have a whole number of kills. It was mainly from farm, and then Celiva kind of just scaled again on Tristana. This time he hasn't picked up a whole bunch of kills, so being behind on farm is going to hinder him more than it did in Game 1. But at the same time, Origen, they have to be careful of that Tristana scaling into the late game.
Wards over the wall. It will be Niels picking up the crab. Amazing, saying, what the hell? I get more gold from that with my jungle item. They'll be clearing out these wards in the mid lane, or trying to. They don't have any... Well, they do have a couple sweepers. And there it is. They know there's a ward there, but he needs to take it out. Kuban is now pushing the top lane. He has changed his natural habitat to that lane. Soaz is trying to zone him away. Lands both electro harpoons. Will be overheating as well. That's a lot of damage. Kuban will be shoved away here, down to 50% HP. That has allowed Origen to go for the dragon here. Celiva in the mid lane. That's an equalizer again going wide. And this dragon should be going over to Origen. There we go, second for Origen.
Soaz had to chase Kuban there. Ooh, Peke dodges the charm.
Yeah, third time lucky in this situation. Now trying to find Niels as well. Trying not to push too far forwards. Take fun. Fairly valuable to this team of Reason Gaming. If he drops, it is disastrous.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because Kuban with his teleport is still available. Soaz had to make sure that Kuban couldn't teleport. If he teleports or tried to, he would die. And that basically gives Origen the ability to take the dragon. We're back in almost the same situation as game number 1. Two dragons apiece, 5 kills to 4. Most of the outer, well, all of the outer turrets, some of the inner ones down at this point. This is where Origen started just trying to go for Baron. They looked at it for a second then, but didn't actually opt to, and I really hope they don't.
Yeah, probably had flashbacks from game 1. In mid lane, they will be again farming it out. That is the same build from Xpeki that we saw before. Has gone for the Will of Ancients, this time for the Abyssal Scepter first. As the Aether-Wisp, see where that one goes. Could be the Ludens. It would make sense since he spams E and Q all day, so you'd be getting those procs pretty consistently.
And the difference from that was he wouldn't have a Zhonya's this game if he does opt for the Luden's Echo. He's a little while away from that, still only sell on about 800 gold, so he won't get there anytime soon. But that certainly would be an interesting tweak to his build if he does opt for that.
It would. It would definitely amp up his damage output. Let's take a look at his opposing mid laner, what he's done. He did pick up that Ludens, of course, at the very early stage of the game. Has gone for the death cap since then. Again, another spike in his damage. Top lane looking towards the Blade of the Ruin King over the Zephyr, which we have sometimes seen on those top lane Aurelias.
Thinking about that Ludens even more, I wonder, with Tides of Blood, if Vladimir uses Tides of Blood to multiple champions around him, I wonder what the priority is on that. Because there's a couple of weird interactions with like Karthus and Ludens, as if you ult. Apparently, some people did a load of testing. Apparently, it's the first champion picked in the game. Requires the Ludens proc. Yeah, it doesn't matter which lane it was in, whichever was first picked.
Very interesting.
I mean, I'm yet to have official conclusion on that. But again, Origen, stop going for Baron, please.
Yeah. They have done. However, Kuban used his teleport and actually cancelled it because he's continuing to push in his bottom lane. It's just Reason Gaming. Their job is to stop the recalls. Soaz going back. So is the jungler and so is Peke. Reason Gaming don't manage to do so, but they're going to take advantage of this to try and push in the middle lane. They'll be able to take an inner turret from this one, and Peke cancelled his teleport too late. So he's neither coming in from the side or coming in from the base. He's just too late for the mid lane.
Oh man, this Origen
that was just really good.
Again, they've just gone for the Baron without setting it up, and Reason had full vision. Look at the wards that are around the Baron area here for Reason Gaming. You can see them pink wards, green wards. They're not even fresh wards here, and Origen reluctant to even sweep them out here. just go for the Baron. This time they know there's no teleport available, so maybe they could have looked to have gone for it, but it's still a risky play. They're waiting around here for I don't know what.
I feel like we've been in this position before.
And it lost Origen the game last time.
They can't afford to make that same mistake this time, but they do have better scaling.
Get Peke into a side lane. Soaz has teleport, put Peke in the top lane, push in the middle lane with the rest of the team, just enough to be presence there, and then make Reason choose. Who do they stop? Soaz or Peke? Peke has both, well, has his flash up so he can still get out. They're going for the Baron again. Soaz with the teleport this time can come into the fight. Gragas ult is about to come up. Everything is up pretty much, apart from actually the Sejuani ult.
They're still
not there.
To it.
They're still on this Baron at this point in Origen. They're getting chunked down pretty hard right now.
Celeber does get tagged up. Peke actually thrown into the back line, but he goes down. Miffy is this game one all over again. Niels will be going down. The mid laner dies as well. Miffy is dying and will tick out from the Ignite. He bleeds out. And Zayu and the rest of the Reason Gaming, this was a no-brainer. However, there's the ultimate. There is the equalizer. Lipic will be keeping him healthy with his Monsoon, but this is dicey. This is so risky from Reason Gaming. Everyone is so low, but Kubon is in a position to zone away Soaz. Soaz has managed to compensate for the weakness in his team.
Just about. I mean, why are Origen going for these Barons? Why?
The million-dollar question.
I feel like I should have an answer for this, but I don't.
It's nonsensical.
But it is nonsensical, and they have a composition that Soaz with teleport, they knew they had the TP advantage. They could push one lane, Peke in the other. You just show in mid lane. You ward clear in the enemy jungle, make sure that nobody can actually come through the jungle to stop your laners and kind of go for a 2 or a 3v1. That's the basics of this kind of composition when you have a teleport on your top laner and a split pusher from your middle lane. That's how you run this 1-3-1 kind of style. And Origen just don't want to do it.
But they did it in game 2. We had XPeke split pushing, so they're capable of doing so. They're just not. Again, take fun, stray charms. Just one of them needs to hit for them to pick up a kill. Seen that so far in this game. He's been farming very well in this game, in fact. Pretty much a Vladimir CS total is what we're looking at. 300 farm for him currently. Top lane is just getting stronger and stronger. Now has that magic resist. He even mentioned how heavy on the magic resist or how heavy on the magic damage Origen is in this game apart from Niels. And Amazing thinks he's caught Zayu. He's fairly tanky though, not quite the target that they want to go for. Knocking Amazing into the team as well. Kuban onto the top side of the fight. Take Fun into the bottom side, trying to get someone down. Celeber will be jumping away from the fight. That's not quite the right
damage.
He is so fast. He will be able to get onto the back lines. He gets punted into the tower, but he's able to get away very quickly. He should be going down to Take Fun here. There he is. Zayu takes him out with the W, the Drunken Rage. That was actually a 2-for-1 in favor of Reason Gaming. They tunneled hard on Celeber.
They tunneled so hard. Niels is still alive though, and he has a lot of damage.
Boomerang Blade, and Amazing will go for the re-engage as well. There comes the backswing, and should pick up this kill here. Not quite. He'll go for the crab instead. He won't fight back.
Origen really want to take this dragon from this. Soaz has baited them past him.
Soaz in the bush, but Kubo will turn around with the damage. There's the blade search. Now Niels is right on top of it. He goes for the first kill, looking for the second. He has been charmed. There is the, again, return on the distortion, or rather the return on the Orb of Deception. That's not a LeBlanc, but that is a Boomerang Blade onto the Ahri.
Oh, neither team is going to be able to take Dragon. Niels with a massive amount of damage right now, but can't really 1v3. He was a little bit weak there. Didn't know whether Spell Shield was available or not, but, I mean, Origen, they should have been ahead, and Reason Gaming have now taken the lead in the gold. And, I mean, they've got the better scaling AD carry. They've got Celeber, who's been typically in better positions. He did get caught out in that last fight by XPeke, but Origen, for everything that they fixed in Game 2, they've gone to exactly the same problems here in Game 3.
Yeah, but the only reason they were able to do so well in that last team fight was because Peke had both his summoners available. Yeah. And yes, he's gone Distortion again, but it's going to be a while until he gets those again. And if that's their crutch on when they can fight, that's a serious issue for them. Because that's a big window in which Reason Gaming can exploit that.
Origen, stop it. Stop it.
Stop it right now.
Stop. Stop it. Don't do this. Like, why? You know everybody is up. Now you have to back away and you've lost health to the Baron already.
They're still on it.
They're still on it. I do not understand this decision-making. This is not what you'd expect. Now Amazing's forced out. Niels has been charmed.
He takes another hit from the Q. The Baron is still being taken out. Take Fun is looking for the charm. There's the ultimate. He has been caught there on the back lines. Then the shutdown for Niels. Tazayu is now on the back lines as well. But Living, just the rest of the team have the damage. Kubon and Celiva trying to jump back and forth.
Binding.
Oh, the binding onto Celiva. He gets the rocket jump just in time. Amazing is low enough where they don't want to go for the re-engage. Again, this is so similar to game one where it shouldn't work out, but they somehow get a pick onto... It was actually Take Fun in the first game who, again, got caught into that Baron. He was just way too far forwards. But they can't rely on that. They can't rely on the opponent making mistakes to make their own play work.
And that's what they've been trying. They're trying it again. You just walked over the crab. You just walked over it. They're relying now on Zayu not being there, which is correct, but neither is Amazing yet. He is just joining the fight now. Ultimate from Greg is not available. Take Fun still dead, so they know they have the timing on this. But again, they're making very risky plays. That one was the safest they made yet, taking into consideration that Take Fun was still down. So Origen this time get away with it, but man, are they frustrating me with always going for Baron.
Yeah, Amazing also missed Smite. Peke was the one to pick it up with the last Tides of Blood. It survived on like 50 HP, so again, it could have just been a stray skill shot from Reason Gaming, which could have picked it up. However, just forget all that, because Origen have managed to pick up the Baron. Yeah. It now means that they can actually apply pressure onto Reason Gaming. They finally have the objective that they needed so badly to make something happen. It wasn't pretty, but now they have it.
Now they should 1-3-1. With Vladimir and a teleport available, this is the situation where they can actually afford to do that. Although there is a lot of wave clear on the Reason Gaming side of things between that Static Shiv and on Tristan and the Luden's Ari. Oh, it's still touch and go here for Origen. Yes, they got the Baron. Yes, they now have a slight gold lead, but Reason Gaming still could steal away that final spot in the grand finals.
You know, I've just got to say that I've been so impressed by the challenger teams as we've come into playoffs. It's like they really just knew that the pressure is up and the stakes are there, and they just turned it all on. They practiced, obviously, and now in these games have just looked stronger and stronger. Lowland Lions were just a different Lions from what we've seen. Gamers 2, really just the major problems that we saw during the split showed themselves in full during that game. And very interesting on the fan vote. 88-12 here.
Stuck at 12.
Stuck at 12. Very interesting. Apparently, it was at 13, but they lost 1%.
Oh. Well, 13's unlucky, so you don't want...
It is, yeah. Maybe that's what will tip the scales in their favor. We'll see.
Maybe.
Let's take a look at some of the items here, Stress. It's been a while since we paid attention to them, but these teams have been farming into a frenzy. Top lane has gone for the Rylai's. Of course, this is kind of the standard build for all of the Magic Pen coming in from Soaz. Peke in the mid lane has still yet to build his... Ludens, but actually opted towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, which is probably a safer build at this stage in the game.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. Top lane, now the more Man Mortius has been completed, all that magic damage will be mitigated by that item. And in the bot lane, Celiva has acknowledged that he's been getting caught and has gone for the Quicksilver Sash.
This time the lane management is much better from Origen. You look at bot lane, it will start to push in or continue to pushing in. They're going to get a turret in top lane easily here. Mid lane is already at the inhibitor as well. So Origen this time are using their Baron buff a lot smarter for their second time around, and now they're pushed up in front of the inhibitor. This should be a dead inhibitor turret. Ooh, QSS.
They're really going to go for the fight underneath the tower. There comes the Gragas ultimate. X-Pac is now underneath that turret. The tower's dropping very low. Niels tries to get the last couple auto-X down. However, Kubon is now jumping onto that back line. Take Fun is dropping low. Celiva gets caught again, and that will be the Monsoon blowing them away. Hopefully, the disengage that they need. Everyone's drops low, but no one has died just yet. Reason Gaming are now on the chase. This is risky, considering how strong Niels is, and they do back away to their turret.
Yeah, Niels is leading the charge though, and that's not a position that I'm actually too keen. Niels is stepping up to the plate. taking turret aggro as well. That's about the 5th time I've seen him do it this series. This time they get the turret from him. Whoa, that charm was a little too close for comfort. Niels has to back away. No ultimates available yet.
Zayu, no ultimate. He does follow through. There is the binding, but Niels can't quite get in range. He gets the boomerang blade, which again does not quite land. Niels is on the front line. This is very risky, but it's high reward. High risk, rather. Salova trying to get in range. That will be the inhibitor going down. They got what they came for. Now they should be leaving.
Yes, they need to hightail it out of there. Big wave in the bottom lane is going to push up to the inhibitor turret as well. Zayu ult not available for about another 10 seconds, so we can't blast somebody back, but they want to keep the pressure on here on the escape through the jungle. That will, however, signal the end of it. Dragon is coming up in 20 seconds. Which team are going to get there first? It looks like Origen are going to recall out, but they will be back just in time.
Yeah, Salova will be going down to the bot lane here to clear out these minion waves before they potentially set up for a dragon. There's 3 dragons to 2 currently on the scoreboard. Reason Gaming would really like another one here so they can have the threat of going for a 5th if we get down the road. That will be 12 minutes from now at a minimum. Reason Gaming will be the first ones to go for it. They're trying to nuke it down as fast as possible. They do not have the smite there just yet, as Swajani is actually turning away their smite, as the smite from Origen is now here. Drag the dragon out. And yeah, okay, wise from Reason Gaming. There's no reason to fight over this dragon because there's no real risk from it. All it gives them is that extra movement speed, which is not effective combat stats.
It's not combat stats, but it makes Origen that little bit slippery, or more slippery. Peke is going to get to the back line even easier. And Niels is going to be able to position even easier in fights as well. OG swing down to the bottom lane. Salova clearing out red buff in the top jungle as well. This is still a very close game. Origen certainly have the lead. Their Baron buff has expired though. And that makes this push a little bit more difficult here for Origen as well.
This has been a pretty stellar performance by Reason Gaming no matter what happens in this series. I do think this Reason Gaming is stronger than the Gamers 2 we saw yesterday, if it comes down to that. But this is still all down to potentially even a final fight, which seems to happen very often between these two teams for some reason. Niels now pushing his bottom turret. Now 42 minutes into the game, make that 43. Fast approaching that mark. Top lane, though, is something they'll have to deal with. So, Reason Gaming, you either fight here or you back off and concede this turret. Choose one.
Yeah, problem for Origen is the minion wave just died in front of them and still about a third of the turret health left. So somebody's going to swing top lane. They were still waiting on the bottom lane minions to come through, but Origen now, they're going to step up onto the base. Niels is the one tanking up the tower to begin with. Ultimate has come out.
Onto the back line, lands onto Tristana. It will be amazing going into the back lines, and Xpeke goes down into his pool. Take Fun as well, comes in with some more damage, but the tower will be dropping. Xpeke jumps forward. He gets one, goes into Zhonya's. Salova, will he be the next target? He'll have to rocket jump away as his ally dies. Origen, they go 3 for 0. They take the bottom inhibitor, and all of a sudden, this looks like Origen's game to lose.
It's Origen about to win this game, to be honest. Origen have pushed up to the Nexus turrets. That's the first one going down. Massive death timers still on Reason Gaming, and it's been a little bit shaky from Origen, but they have unseated Reason Gaming.
Yeah, Salova here, he's 1 versus 4, but he should be falling here as Peke's trying to fall up into the spawn pad. It doesn't matter though, because Origen finally in this series pull it together and take this series 2-1 against Reason Gaming, who put up such a solid performance. But Origen do make it to the grand finals.
And it wasn't easy.
No, it was not. That was not a pretty game, and that was not a pretty series.
Congratulations to Origen for making it, but that was not the Origen we saw during the group stage by any stretch of the imagination. Hats off to them for winning. Hats off to Reason for putting up a great fight here. That's 3 much longer games, or 2 much longer games than we were expecting in this series. But Origen have done it so far.
Yeah. We will have an interview in a couple minutes here, and I believe we have a lot of questions for... I think it's amazing who's coming on here. Maurice will have a lot of things to say. But after that series, it went down to the wire, and ultimately it was Origen who came ahead. There's a lot of things they have to fix between now and next week for our live grand finals. But what is for certain is Origen will be there up against Lowland Lions. And that'll be our live finals on April 8th. So remember that tickets are still available for that if you want to join us live at the studios.
Yeah, you can grab them on lolesports.com. But that series, 3 games is the first big surprise out from this. And that's not to take anything away from Reason Gaming, because I actually think they played very well in this series. The second surprise was Origen back and forth on their decision making. Game 2 was let's go do it. Game 1 and 3 were very much so let's just stand around in front of Baron for a while. So as you said, I got a lot of questions for Maurice when we actually get there.
Yes, I feel like I know what the first question from you is going to be, Stress, but
I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a very interesting series overall. It highlighted some problems from Origen, also strengths from Reason Gaming. And both of these guys are still in it. Reason Gaming now dropping down to face Gamers 2. Gamers 2 will have to see if they fix their own issues, as we saw from yesterday. And that will be the third place game next week on Tuesday. So make sure to tune in for that as well. That'll be another best of 3.
Yeah, it will be. I'm looking forward, though, to our grand finals now, because that's going to be one heck of a series between Lowland Lions and Origen, and I can't wait to see who's going to take home the first place.
Yeah, well, with his final spot secured, we're joined by Amazing to talk about their win. Hello, Amazing. How's it going?
Hey. It's going good, since we managed to somehow put it together and actually win the game. It was stressful, though. It was stressful.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, with your preparation for this game, did you expect it to go to 3 games at all?
Honestly, we didn't. Like, the thing is that we in practice seem to be way better at using weak early game teams and thus get a lead and snowball it pretty well. But to be honest, Reason Gaming played in a way where they evaded a lot of fights where they didn't want to take. They kind of gained a lot of things which could have set us ahead. And it was kind of surprising to see such a defensive, passive play style being executed to that level. So props to them, and we have to adapt to that the next time.
Okay, so I guess the next question for us on the game is how your decision-making was in Game 1 and 3. You were so focused on that Baron. We knew it was to break, of course, the defense from Reason Gaming, but there was a couple dodgy decisions, especially in Game 1, where you just kind of tunneled on the Baron a couple of times. What was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, the thought process was basically like to actually break the defense that they had, but we didn't execute properly. What we should have done most likely, since they spammed a lot of pink wards, they basically invested a lot of money into the cover of the Nash. We should have probably just starved them to death more or less, and basically don't allow them to face check to the Nash because we had such a good catch comp. But we didn't really do that. We didn't really get the priority mid. We didn't play to our practice, and thus they were actually able to contest the Nashes, which meant for us that we couldn't break the defense that they had.
So what was the biggest change between Games 1 and Game 2? Because to us it looked night and day for you guys.
I think we adapted a bit in terms of picks and bans. I think going for Gragas really helped us because I think Rek'Sai, once late game hits, unless he's utterly fat, is going to struggle to actually kill backlands, and is only going to be chunked out, especially versus the Champs that I seem to eat every 20 seconds, honestly. I thought that Rek'Sai was not the pick that's going to win us the series, but a tank engage and basically someone that can tank objectives, that can tank the front their backline and allow our backline to do damage.
Okay, so you have now made it through in a 2-1 series up against Reason Gaming. So next week you'll be facing Lowland Lions, and this is also the Lowland Lions, which took a game off you in Week 5. How do you think that series is going to go?
I mean, I can give a confident opinion or something that could be PR heavy. I think if we play to our practice, we should go 3-0. If we don't play to our practice, it should still be win.
Okay, fantastic. Well, once again, congratulations on your win, Amazing, and we will see you next week on the finals.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, Maurice. As always a pleasure to speak to Amazing after a game. And you heard his response there about how they weren't expecting Reason to quite play so well around the Baron. And I will echo that sentiment. As we said during the game, Reason actually stepped up a lot between the last game and this game, but focus on Origen. I think this provides for a very exciting series in that between Lowland Lions and Origen, that they both want to get ahead early game. And there's always some crazy stuff that happens with Lowland Lions when they're desperately trying to get ahead in the early game. So that makes it a very exciting grand finals.
Well, with that game complete, we conclude our semi-finals and the third place and grand final teams who are locked in. So let's see who made the cut. It is Lowland Lions making it to the finals with Reason Gaming, or rather Origen. I kind of messed that one up. But it's Origen and Lowland Lions in the finals. You know that one by now. And it's Reason Gaming and Gamers 2 who are dropping into that third place match.
Yes, that's 2 exciting series here to really go head-to-head over next week. But remember, with regards to next week, we're broadcasting on both Tuesday and Wednesday again at our regular time of 6 p.m. CEST.
Yeah, and on Tuesday, it's our 3rd place match. Then on Wednesday, it's the Grand Finals live from our studios here in Berlin.
So if you want to see Origen going up against Lowland Lions live next week in Berlin on April the 8th, you don't have long left to book your ticket. Check out the tickets tab on lolesports.com and follow the links to get yours before it's too late.
Yeah, not long to go indeed, Stress. But while we're done on the European Challenger Series, your league fix doesn't end here. Tune in at 3 p.m. PDT right before the playoff edition of PTL to witness the unrivaled sophistication and elegance like you've never seen it before on the Rift.
And after ye old league organisations square off against the Society of Worth Assessing Gentlemen for the coveted Golden Spatula, Primetime League will be live. That'll take place at around about 1 a.m. CEST or 4 p.m. Pacific. Finally, if that's not enough for you, Freak and Zyrene will bring you their last semi-final of the 2015 North American Challenger Series.
That was a mouthful for sure. But that's all for us. So from myself, Stress, our entire Berlin broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday, next week.
Wave, backing away. Oh, great ult.
3 players. Xpeke will be going into his invulnerable form. Kuban as well with a follow. There comes the Rampage. Takefun trying to get the kill onto Amazing.
Origen are rolling the dice
50,
again.
50 this. They just can't. Zayu comes in again, initiates onto the back line. There's the second initiate from Kuban, and they are ripping apart the back line, looking to try and get the equalizer down. It does split them away. It takes down Miffy. Oh, the Void who's lands onto Niels as he gets away from this fight.
Here comes the teleport coming in.
Oh, Kuban, he just got the ultimate down, but again, it whiffs and doesn't hit anybody. Xpeke is on the back lines and he just shreds everybody down. There's the double kill for Amazing.
Niels, his itemization is so far behind because of it. In top lane, Zayu is going in first.
Amazing is there to counter-engage though. Lands a great ultimate onto 2 players, onto Zayu and Kuban, who will be dropping first. Produce into the rush to cut the vision. Kuban, can he get in range for the auto attack? Turns around!
But Origen now, they're going to step up onto the base. Niels is the one tanking up the tower to begin with. Ultimate has come out.
Onto the back line, lands onto Tristana. It will be Amazing going into the back lines, and Xpeke goes down into his pool. Takefun as well comes in with some more damage, but the tower will be dropping. Xpeke jumps forward. He gets one, goes into Zhonya's. Celeber, will he be the next target? He'll have to rocket jump away as his ally dies. Origen, they go 3-0 because Origen finally in this series pull it together and take this series 2-1 against Reason Gaming.